Starting today, LCBO, the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world, will begin removing U.S. products from its store shelves. And as the exclusive wholesaler, American brands will no longer be available in LCBO catalog, meaning other retailers, bars, and restaurants in the province will no longer be able to restock U.S. products.
All of Canada's provinces have now said no to American alcohol. But the maker of Jack Daniel's is calling the Canadian response disproportionate, saying it's worse than a tariff because it's literally taking your sales away, completely removing products from the shelves. Despite protesting the removal, the company's CEO says they can take the hit because Canada represents just 1% of its total sales.
Jack Daniel's versus Canada. Canada's market makes up just 1% of the company's sales.
Jack Daniel's is going to be fine.
Yes.
Every American company will be fine.
Yes.
Because, again, our GDP is 10 times higher than theirs. Canada has no means of competing, and the amount to which they're trying to pretend they can has gotten comical. It happened a couple of months ago, too, or a couple of weeks ago, rather, when first started this tariff thing. The LCs, the Liquor Control Board, they sent out a summons to all their fucking liquor stores, because they're all state-run. Hey, you guys got to remove all the American booze off your shelves. You already paid for it.
Yeah.
The fuck are you doing?
I know.
That's like people who go buy a LeBron James jersey and then burn it in the street. It's like, well, he's still got $5. I mean, do what you want. Pour that liquor all down the drain. What is exactly their big plan here? I don't understand it. As far as hard alcohol goes, there isn't one that's more popular.
The big businesses like a Jack Daniel's or somebody else, cool, man. It literally is less than 1% of their fucking sales.
Yeah.
It will not make a dent in the long run at all. So fuck off with this bullshit.
We have pallets of product that was bottled and designated for Canada that are sitting in our warehouse.
Heath Clark says about 25,000 bottles of his whiskey are collecting dust in the warehouse. Back in March, Canadian provinces retaliated against President Trump's 25% tariffs by pulling American liquor off its shelves. Clark's whiskey was one of them.
And in those cases, you've got product that's now homeless.
New data shows the Canadian liquor boycott cost the country about $500 million in revenue. Total liquor sales fell by more than 12%.
It's a terrible word, but it's a little bit boneheaded. They've lost $500 million in revenue.
The Distilled Spirits Council of the United States has been working with their Canadian counterparts, trying to convince leaders that when it comes to a possible trade war, they should leave liquor out of it.
This industry should be immune to that. Why? Because we bring people together.
So unfortunately, some more bad news for the U.S. economy today. The liquor giant Jack Daniel's is closing one of its barrel-making plants in Louisville, Kentucky. This in response to the ongoing boycott of American products and now, of course, tariff. The CEO of Jack Daniel's, Lawson Whiting, I believe it is, has issued a profit warning and has told investors to watch out for that. Lawson isn't very happy because he feels that taking Jack Daniel's completely off the shelf in Ontario and also in other provinces is what he calls a disproportionate response to tariffs. In this case, the boycott of American goods unfortunately has had a knock-on effect. Sales are down for Jack Daniel's, and of course, as I just mentioned, the loss of 210 jobs and a closure of their barrel-making plant in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, folks, buckle up because today we are diving into one of the wildest side effects of this Canada-US trade drama. Distilleries across the US. Yes, those makers of Bourbon, whiskey, craft spirits are feeling the squeeze. And why? Canada. Canadians aren't just sipping maple syrup, they've been shutting down American liquor shelves in protests. And trust me, it's getting ugly. Look at that. That's not just one liquor store. It's a movement. Let me paint the picture. Canada was the first to say enough is enough with Trump's tariffs and America's bullying trade policies. And instead of just talking, Canadians actually put their money where their mouth is. They started boycotting US goods, everything from Florida's oranges to US travel, and now American whiskey.
Kentucky's legendary whiskey business may be in crisis mode. Major distilleries are shutting down and thousands of jobs are at risk as the industry struggles against declining sales, along with changing Gen Z drinking habits and damaging trade disputes. 3 prominent Kentucky distilleries have collapsed into bankruptcy over the past 8 months. More than 32,000 workers across Kentucky's whiskey region.
And here is the thing. Canada is one of the biggest importers of US spirits. In 2023 alone, Canadian drinkers were pouring back millions of dollars worth of Kentucky bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, and craft gin. But since these boycotts, distilleries are reporting slashed salaries, layoffs, and even closures.
So the continued boycott of American goods and services by Canadians continues to have a knock-on effect. Southern Glacier Wines, what you may or may not know is that Canada is the biggest buyer of American wines in the world. And of course, there's been a boycott taking place of all things American, and also several provinces have actually banned pulled from the shelves American alcohol. So Southern Glacier Wines and Spirits have announced that they're cutting 3,000 jobs in the United States nationally due to the boycott. This information comes from the Advocate newspaper.
My name is Bill Butcher. I'm the founder of Port City Brewing Company in Alexandria, Virginia.
My name's Dave Cutnow. I'm the owner and founder of Reservoir Distillery.
We're a small Main Street business.
I started Reservoir about 17 years ago.
Like many of the other 9,000 independent breweries in the U.S., we use Canadian malt.
We've been at it for so long that we have distribution domestically, but also internationally. Our Western Canadian business basically just went away because of the tariffs. Alberta and BC both froze all of our inventory, and the Canadian consumer is refusing to buy American products.
Having a 25% tariff on our basic ingredient that goes into every single beer is going to push our costs up and unfortunately force us to raise our prices.
The other thing about this is just so freaking weird. We're not talking about tariffs against Russia or China. We're talking about mean-spirited tariffs against Canada. Canada.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of bourbon barrels crying in Kentucky. By the way, if you're loving this channel and want to support what I am doing, you can. Just click on the link in the description to buy me a coffee. It's a fun way to help me keep bringing these stories, reactions, and breakdowns to you. Honestly, every little bit goes a long way. And hey, if I had a barrel of Canadian whiskey here, I'll toast to you myself.
We just launched tariffs against the same countries that are financing our debt. It's an interesting play. We'll see how it turns out. It's like telling your mortgage lender that you're slashing their salary. Not a great idea, Bob. So the big five financing, America's $34 trillion in debt, are Japan with $1.1 trillion. China has something like $750 billion. United Kingdom's got $690 billion, Luxembourg $373 billion, and Canada $329 billion. So they're investing in the U.S., or at least they're paying for our bills. So foreign countries hold about 23% of our IOUs. They're like the friends that still buy you rounds at 2 in the morning. Now, yesterday, or this week's tariffs announcement, was economic chaos theory in action. So we're taxing the same countries that were begging to buy our debt.
This isn't just a Canadian thing anymore. Europe, South America, parts of Asia, they are catching on. Canada led the march, and now the boycott fire is spreading. Distilleries that once bragged about exporting their smooth American bourbon around the world are suddenly desperate. Imagine having thousands of barrels aging for years, waiting for the big payday, only to find out that nobody wants to buy it. Brutal.
Did you hear about this? A perfect storm just crushed Kentucky's $9 billion whiskey industry. Here's what's going on. In the last 8 months, 3 major distilleries filed for bankruptcy. 23,000 jobs gone. Why? Well, first, Gen Z. They're not drinking as much as they used to. They prefer weed over whiskey. Second, the European nation slapped massive tariffs on U.S. whiskey. At the same time, producers flooded the market betting that a boom would last forever, but it didn't. It tanked. In Canada, that was the final nail in the coffin. They hit U.S. whiskey with a 25% tariff, then pulled it off their shelves completely in retaliation against Trump's trade war. Now we have a 200-year-old American tradition that is circling the drain. What do you think? Can U.S. whiskey be saved? And if so, how?
All these store shelves, the American sections, are completely empty. Canada is not taking these tariffs lying down. You want a sign that it's really serious? Don't screw with alcohol, because in addition to the 25% counter tariffs, there's also unilateral action that's being taken here in Canada. For example, at the LCBO, the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, they have pledged that they will not sell any American alcohol until the United States decides to end this trade war. And that amounts to $1 billion annually. In fact, the LCBO is one of the biggest single consumers of American alcohol.
Oh, that's cold. Canadians are saying, why drink American when we've got Crown Royal and Canadian Club right here? Honestly, I can't even blame them. And let's be real, this boycott isn't happening in a vacuum. Trump's policies made it easy. He's busy picking fights with allies, slapping tariffs, and basically daring countries to fight back. Well, guess what? Canada actually said, challenge accepted. Now, distilleries are reporting revenue losses in the billions. Tourism in Bourbon country is dipping, and small town businesses that depended on whiskey exports are closing their doors, all because Canadians decided, nah, we'll skip Jack Daniels this time. It's not just bottles not selling, it's jobs, towns, families, and entire industries on the line. So the next time you see a bottle of US whiskey gathering dust in a Canadian store, remember, it's not just about alcohol, it's about power, unity, and sending a message. Canada showed the world that a boycott can work, and now distilleries from Kentucky to Tennessee are paying the price. What do you think? Should Canadians keep this boycott going until America changes its policies, or is it unfair to punish small businesses that had nothing to do with the tariffs? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear where you stand on this one. And hey, don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new here, and let's keep exposing these stories together. And speaking of boycotts, wait until you see what industry is collapsing next because of this movement. Spoiler, it's not just whiskey. Stay tuned. So YouTube thinks you like this video over here. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Over.